Hey, we're live. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'm excited to have you here with me. I'm not sure how many people are going to be joining with me. It's a really awkward time. I'm in the UK. It's 10 o'clock in the morning for me. I know some of you guys are in America. I know some of you guys are in Australia. I know some of you guys are from everywhere. So for the people that are here, just drop down in the chat where exactly you're from so I can know roughly what time it is for you. And because of the way time zones work, there's not a perfect time for everyone, which I'm really disappointed about. But either way, whether people show up or not, and whether people engage or not, I'm going to deliver this with all that I've got, because we've got a lot to go through, a lot of exciting information to go through. Starting with, I'm going to be predicting your personality type, and I've actually got it written right down here. And once we've gone over that, once we've predicted your Myers Briggs personality type, which again, I've got written right down here, what I'm going to be doing. Hey, nice to have you here. Welcome to everyone. For the 9 people that are just showing up, welcome, welcome, welcome. What I'm doing at the moment is just explaining to you what's going to be going down in this live, because we've actually got a structure which I'm super excited to talk to you about. So as more and more people go in, I'm going to have to keep explaining myself, because at the moment there's 13 people in. Welcome. Thank you for showing up. So the first thing that we're going to go through is that I'm going to predict your personality type. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this, but I'm excited what I've got to you. It's written down here, and I can't wait to share that with you. Once we've gone into that, I'm going to be sharing with you a mistake that you're probably making in your life that's causing you to get trapped in a corner, and it's probably the reason why you're not making progress in your life as quickly as you want. Then I'm going to show you the solution to this problem, and this is how geniuses, billionaires, and philosophers think. And it's also the same solution that it's the biggest epiphany that you've got to have if you want to start making money, if you want to start a business, or even if you just want to have more energy in your life. It's what I'm going to be sharing with you then. Then finally, I've got an exciting announcement to make, and trust me, you're going to want to be on this live stream for that. Super exciting first thing that's happening to this channel. So excited to share that with you. Then finally, we're going to finish up with some question and answer. Now, for the 18 people, before I guess your personality type, I've already written it down here so I can't cheat, but I want you just to put in the chat, what is your Myers Briggs personality type? And I'm going to wait until I get a couple responses until I share with you what I think is your personality type, then exactly how I came to get that information. So Kevin, and how is that? Marlo, logician mediator, thank you for saying INTP so far. Who else is in here? Let me just check. So we've got INTP, we've got an INFP. Keep going. I'll wait for a couple more until I reveal to you what I think your personality type. It's nice to have you here, Emmanuel, Moore McGill, Kevin, Logician Mario. Thank you guys for showing up, and just put in your personality type in the chat. When a couple more people go up, I'm going to refer to you what I think your personality type is. Nils, that is no use, but that's fine. Nice to have you here, everyone. I'll wait for 2 more personality types before I reveal to you what your personality type is, and exactly how I guessed it, how that might be limiting your progress in personal development, then how you can overcome that problem, plus an exciting announcement, plus Q&A. We've got lots to get into, so I'm just going to wait for a couple more people to reply and say what their personality type is. And just by the way, as we wait for that, I'm so grateful for everyone for showing up. I know this means it's maybe an awkward time for you. It's 10 in the morning for me. I don't know what the time is where you're from, but it's an awkward time. So I really appreciate you just sitting down with me and having this chat with me. And Bob just put in the chat, INTP. So if we look through what everyone has gone through so far, Mario is an INTP. Logician Mediator is an INTP. Mormagil is an INFP, and Bob Cockley is an INTP. That is everyone that's responded. Oh, and Fionn Bar Sherry, INFJ. And if you wait for the reveal, are you ready for what I think your personality type is? Ready? Bam. IN something something. And if you look, I got every single one correct. Every single person in this thing is an introvert. Every single person in this live stream is an N personality type. And the other 2 are impossible to predict. But every single one in this live stream that has put their thing in the chat is an I and is an N. Does that tell you something? What I'm going to reveal to you now is how that's a good thing, how I predicted that, how that may be limiting your progress, then how to overcome that progress. So let's get into it. The way I managed to come up with that conclusion, the way I managed to guess every single one of your personality types or at least half of it, was because on my email list, I sent out a questionnaire and I said, everyone, go ahead and do the Myers Briggs Personality Type. And just very quickly, if you don't know what that is, it's a set of questions that's going to determine what bucket your personality type is. Now, there's 16 different buckets, and they each tell you what your character is, why you think, and how you think it. It's a very good test. It's free. It's called the Myers Briggs test, and I recommend that you go ahead and do that. Nils, you're the odd one out. So there you go. I got most people's personality type completely correct. Now, when I sent out this survey, the results I got were very intriguing because, first of all, and this is kind of interesting, but not too interesting, 70% of the people that responded were introverts. Now, if you don't know the difference between an introvert and an introvert is someone who gets energy from being alone. And an extrovert is someone who gets energy from being around other people. Now, my hypothesis around this is that people that are interested in stoicism recognize that you can completely control yourself, but you cannot completely control other people. Therefore, if you can manage to get your energy sources from yourself, you are able to be completely energized just out of your own control. Whereas if you are someone that decides to get energy from other people, or you are someone that does get energy from other people, then that is something outside of your control. Now that's quite interesting, but it's not all true interesting. Again, Lou's and what was it that truly motivates us? Just on the questions for Lou, I'll answer them in a second. And greetings from India as well. But the thing that was most interesting about the test that I sent out was what people's responses, whether they were an N personality type or an S personality type. And the conclusion was that over 80% of people that followed me were an N-type personality type, and less than 20% were an S-type personality type. And what that means is that the great majority of people that follow me pay attention to the meanings and patterns of the information that they get. 80% of people, they try to learn from meanings and the patterns behind the information that they get. And a very small minority of the people, they would rather learn from thinking a problem through with hands-on experience. So the vast majority of people that follow me, you probably like to sit back, theorize about a problem instead of getting cracking and go hands-on in the way that you deal with things. Now, this is very interesting. The fact that most people, I am an INTP, by the way, which is actually what most of the people that follow me are also an INTP. You see, 3% of the population are INTPs, yet 15% of the people that follow me are INTPs. 5 times more people that follow me are INTPs than the average population. It's absolutely crazy. But let me tell you a problem with what I'm about to tell you, because most people, they go through life, and what they do is they think there's a right and they think there's a wrong. And this happens with everything. In everything they can think of, they think there's a right and they think there's a wrong. For example, with the personality types, as we're on this topic, some people think that being an introvert is better than being an extrovert. Some people think that being an extrovert is better than being an introvert. But this is the wrong way of thinking. Now, people that think introverts are better than extroverts, they can justify it with the rationality that I gave you earlier, that by gaining energy from yourself, you've got complete control over that. Therefore, you can be energized whenever you want. Now, the people that think that extroverts are better, they can rationalize that by saying that you need to network. We are social human beings. We need to network with other people. That's why being an extrovert is better. Now, let me tell you that neither of those people are correct. In reality, oftentimes there is not one thing that is better from the other one. You have got to live on a scale where you have both. There must be times where you can be introverted. There must be times where you can be extroverted. There must be times when you can learn by thinking and theorizing. But there must also be times that you can learn from practical beings. And the best example that I come to think of this is politics. Now, some people believe that Trump is right. Some people believe that Hillary Clinton is right. And the people that believe Trump is right generally believe that Hillary Clinton was completely wrong, and the vice versa. Now, in England, we have the Labour Party and the Conservatives Party. They are our 2 political parties that most people, when they identify with Labour, They think that everything is wrong with the Conservatives. And most people that think the Conservatives are correct, they think that Labour is completely wrong. That is just the way it goes. People believe there is a right and there is a wrong. But let me tell you that this is going to trap you. This is going to keep you in a corner, and it's going to stop you from making progress. Now, let me explain why this is the case and why geniuses, billionaires, and philosophers do not always believe that there is simply a right and there is simply a wrong. Now, you guys all know Michael Jordan, and everyone that's in the chat, thank you, David, Mormagil, Santiago, for Noah, we're talking about the Myers Briggs Personality Type, and the Logician Mediator. Thank you for being here. Now, most people know of Michael Jordan. And if you know basketball, you know that most people have simple roles. They are in the defensive line or they're in the offensive line. Most people are generally defensive and offensive. That's just the way that basketball works. But what Michael Jordan did was he got incredible at being offensive and incredible at being defensive. He didn't think that offensive was better than defensive or defensive was better than offensive. He learned both. And why that made him so incredible was that he was unpredictable. Nobody knew what he was up to. He was able to do both skills just as well as the other because he was evolved past the paradigm of normal basketball. Most people that play basketball, they believe that offensive is better than defensive or defensive is more important than offensive, but he evolved past that stage. And because of that, he became one of the best basketball players in the world. And another example of someone that evolved past this paradigm of one right and one wrong is Mike Tyson. And again, if you know boxing, you'll know that there's heavyweights and there's lightweights. Now, the heavyweights, they're strong. They can punch very, very strong and heavy. They've got a strong punch, but they are slow. Now, the lightweights, they are slimmer, they are lighter, and they can't punch as heavily, but they are fast. Now, what Mike Tyson did was he was a heavyweight, big build, strong man, but he became so fast that he could punch heavy but still move fast. He moved like a lightweight but punched like a heavyweight. Again, he evolved past that paradigm of thinking that there's one right and one wrong, that there's one better and that there's one not better. And this is a little hack that you can use throughout your life. Most people, when they try to think of what they need to be doing, they start looking for the right reason. They look for the right answer, but the right answer is difficult to find. Whether that right answer is in business or finances or relationships or getting energy, that right answer is difficult to find. But a hack that you can do to find the right answer is by clearly defining what is the wrong answer. And once you can see the wrong answer, you flip it on its head, and that's going to give you the right answer. And if this sounds a bit airy-fairy, let me go ahead and give you some concrete examples, but let me just explain it one more time. There's the right thing that you should be doing, the right answer, the correct answer. That's very difficult to define. But when you can clearly define the wrong answer, you can simply flip the wrong answer on its head, and that's going to give you the right answer. Let me get into some explanations. First of all, when most people want to start a business, they sit down and they think, what idea can I have? What is a great idea? What is $1 million idea? What idea can I have that's going to blow up my business and it's going to make me successful? What is the idea that I can have? But that's the wrong way of thinking about it. Instead of thinking about an idea, identify a problem. And when you identify the problem, then the idea will come. So instead of vaguely looking out there for the right answer, vaguely looking out there for an idea that's going to make you successful, instead find a problem. And every single millionaire, every single successful person out there will tell you this same thing. Stop looking for ideas and start looking for problems. And what we've done here is we've stopped trying to find the correct answer. Instead, what we've done is we have pinpointed the wrong answer, we flipped it on its head, and that's given us the right answer. Just like that, we're able to find the right answer. And when it comes to business, the most important epiphany you can have is don't look for ideas, instead look for problems. And it's the same thing when most people come and they try to make money online. What they do is they go out there and they think, how can I make money? How can I go out there and just get a load of money? I want to become a millionaire. I deserve earning $10,000 a month. How can I do it? How can I do it? How can I get this? How can I get that? Instead, flip it on its head and start giving. Because when you start giving, you will get in return. And that's what I've been doing with this YouTube channel for many years now, I've been putting out free content, giving value, asking myself the question, what can I do to give my audience value? What can I do to give? What can I do to give? What can I do to give? And in reality, I get back. That's the best way of thinking. And it's, again, instead of defining what you think is the right answer, you clearly define the wrong answer, and instead you flip the wrong answer on its head, and then you find the right answer. And let me just keep going. If you want to have long-term freedom and fulfillment, then that's a difficult thing to come by. Instead, you flip it on its head and you recognize that short-term sacrifice, short-term discipline is how you're going to get to that. Again, find the thing that you want, flip it on its head, do that thing, and you will get what you want. It's just a simple hack that you can use again and again in your life. And I'm going to be getting onto your questions in just a second, and I'm going to be getting onto my important announcement in just a second. The final thing, you want to have lots of energy. How do you get lots of energy? Well, you flip it on its head and recognize that by expending energy through exercise, that is how you get more energy. And if you're having a problem in your life, use this tool. Instead of trying to define the outcome that you want, flip it on its head, define what you, the short-term thing, and that is going to reveal to you what you want in the long run. Now, thank you guys for being here. Let me just quickly read the chat. Let me go through this. Hi, my pleasure, big fan. I understand that Pratik Patra says, I understand that there is no absolute right or wrong, that it all is a grey area, but aren't there some universally accepted rights and wrongs? What do you think about that? Of course, there are some things that are better than others. But when it comes to stuff like murder, and I think I saw this, Pratik, don't kill others. If it came to this situation, you're going to have to kill one person to save 10 people, then you're going to kill that one person to save those 10 people. So although there is what most people call a universally right or wrong, there are always exceptions, which is why everything is simply a scale. Accepted rights and wrongs, what Stoics have to say about getting rid of lust, anger, etc. Akshay Kastur, I made a video about this, just YouTube the Stoic way to deal with anger or something like that. I've got a whole video on how to deal with anger as a Stoic, and that's a great video that will completely resolve your problem. Santiago, I think that resolves legal and illegal, which is a type of right and wrong. So there are probably a bunch of situations that life in society needs to control in order to be, yeah. ME says, give me money. No, because again, you're going about that the wrong way. I've just explained that. If you want money, then you've got to give me value. And if you can give me value, then I'll give you money, just like I'm trying to give you value. Logician Mediator says, I want to live in Alaska with my pet bear. Then you can do that. Go ahead and just do that. Andrew, I love how fluent you are with thought and speaking. Any advice on speech particularly? Yes, my answer is do it again and again and again. I know you've heard it before, but it's very simple. Go back and watch my first video. Open a new tab, go onto Andrew Kirby's channel, sort by recent videos, then go onto my last video, and you will see what kind of speaker I was back then. It's as simple as that. The proof is in the pudding. Look back at my older videos, look at where I am now. That is the gap that I've come, and it's only come because I've made 300 videos on this channel, 300 free videos where I'm up here, I'm talking, and I'm practicing the skill of talking. If you want to get better at talking, you simply have to practice. And if that means you want to get better at talking on a stage, there is no harm in asking to speak. Whether that's at school or at university or at your job, you've got to just get in and get the practice. It's a simple answer, but it's the truth, and there's no shortcuts. Really cool. Flip it on its head. Love it. Yeah, Nathan, I'm glad you're enjoying. And Akshay Kastur, thank you for your questions and stuff like that. How do you deal with anxiety in the moment? Fionn Bar Sherry says, and I'm about to do my announcement. This is the last question. Then I'm going to share with you my announcement. Well, how I deal with anxiety is, first of all, you've got to get so good at the thing you are doing. That is the shortcut. When you become incredible at the thing you're doing, there will be no anxiety. Just like when you start speaking, you're going to be nervous. But when you start to master that skill, the anxiety is reduced. So the first answer is just get good at whatever the thing you're anxious about. If that's talking with other people, then you've just got to practice. Keep putting yourself out there. Keep talking to people, and eventually you'll get better at the skill, and the anxiety will start to vanish. If that's not a solution, then the other answer is meditation, because anxiety is simply living in fear of the future. You're scared about what's going to happen. Or if you're anxiety in the moment, you're scared about what other people are going to think of you, which is something that is outside of your control. By meditating, you're able to calm your mind, slow your mind down. And it's been proven that meditation is going to rewire your brain. And by doing that, you're going to simply have less anxiety. It's very simple, just like that. Now, the announcement that I'm excited to share with you is that there's this thing called self-signaling. And what it means is that you can change. So, okay, let me explain. Most people think that the choices that they make are because of their identity. They think that the choices they make are because of who they are. That's wrong. In reality, who you are is determined because of the choices that you make. If you run every single day for a year, you are now a runner. So we now know that the choices that you make determine who you are. Now, the best kind of choices that you can make are the choices that you make once and then you benefit from them for years after. You make a decision once and you benefit from years after. Now, an example of this is when I got my first gym membership. And what that meant was I had access to an area where I could exercise every single day. And for the past year or 2 years now, I've been going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week consistently. And it's just an amazing decision that I made to get that gym membership. And it's benefited me for years and years to come. But when it comes to shifting your identity, how can you do that? Well, there's this thing called self-signaling. And what it means is, in the example I'm about to give to you, you put something on your body. The most extreme option is a tattoo, but the less extreme option and the least extreme option is you have something up on a wall that says affirmation kinds of thing. The best kind of option that I'm about to share with you is by wearing a clothing item that self-signals your identity, gives you the identity that you want to have. Put something on your body that represents who you are. And this is going to give you two benefits when you can wear an item of clothing that has a positive message that you want to identify with. This is going to do two things. First of all, by wearing this item of clothing, you're going to start to benefit other people, and you will benefit them. One decision that you make for years and years to come whenever you wear this item of clothing. Because what's going to happen is they're going to read it, they're going to be excited by the message you have to share. Maybe they'll ask you questions, or maybe they'll just smile and get on with their day that 1% better. So by wearing a positive item of clothing, you're able to impact other people's lives. But the most important thing, by wearing this positive item of clothing, you're reminding your brain that the thing that you want to identify with, you're able to repetitively remind your brain of the identity you want to have. So by making the decision once to get a positive item of clothing, you are able to reap the benefits for months and months and months, and your brain will slowly start to identify with the slogan that's come on your brain, even if you don't identify it with it at the moment. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, this is the exciting launch of my merchandise brand, which you are able to get. I'm putting it in the chat. You are able to go in there. You're going to be able to get an item of clothing that is beneficial to you and is beneficial to the people around you. Hazy, you've got it right. And what that's able to do is going to rewire your brain until you have that self-signaling thing inside of your brain. But because you're here on the live stream with me, there's a 15% off code. It is live15, and that code is going to end once this live stream is up. And that is just a thank you for joining me on this live stream. For the 28 people here, there's a 15% off code that you are going to be able to have for a limited time only. And then once this live stream is gone, this will disappear and you won't be able to get that. But I'm super excited to launch this merchandise brand, because it's not just any old merch that looks nice. There's positive messages that are going to impact the people around you and that are going to impact you. So I'm super excited to have that. And finally, again, the live 15 coupon code will get you 15% off, but that's going to end at the stream. Let's go back and keep on going and answer some more questions. Emmanuel Romano says, I'm a level 1 stoic boy. Logician Mediator says, I would not care and I'm dead. I don't really know what you're saying. Quinton Jeers, here's a question. Could you explain how Stoics view influencing friendships? The Stoic lessons say friendships can't be influenced, but I'm sure I'm kind of able to. Now, this is an important note, and you're having a common misconception. Friendships can be influenced. They cannot be completely controlled, however. Of course, you can influence what people like you. Of course, you can influence how deep your friendships are. There is no doubt about that. You have control over your actions, and your actions may control what people think about you, but you do not have complete control over what people think about you. So it's a scale. You have control over your actions. You don't have control over what people think about you. But by changing your actions, you're able to change what people think about you. The point is, you do not have complete control over what people think about you. So yes, by changing your actions, by being more loyal, you're able to have deeper, more long-lasting friendships, but you cannot completely control whether people like you. So don't get caught up in that. Instead, focus your energy and focus your efforts on being the best friend that you can be, being the most loyal, being the funniest, the most uplifting, the most supporting friend. And by doing that, that is how you're going to be able to get more friends. Lou's Lab says, how did you get into stoicism? Well, it was something I'm actually really interested about. It had a lot of benefits on me and my life. And if you want to learn more about the benefits, then there's the video that is why stoicism is the greatest mind hack that I just made. And when I started to recognize these benefits, I knew that it was my duty to share this with the world. It was made some 2,000 years ago, but people have forgotten about stoicism. So it was my goal, my duty to go ahead and share that word. And when I had that, that was when I started learning about it, going deep into all of the different scriptures, going deep into all the different books, and just immersing myself into the culture of stoicism. That's how I got into it. Emmanuel says, I'm terrified speaking my talk in a classroom. Yeah, well, the answer to that is then don't go to a classroom, or either buckle up and just speak in front of your classroom, or just practice in front of a smaller audience, in front of your friends, in front of your mirror, in front of your family, and just build your way up. There's this concept when you go to the gym, lots, it's called progressive overload. And put very simply, it means every single time you go to the gym, you just put 1 or 2 kilograms extra onto the weight. And every time you go, you lift a little bit longer, or a little bit heavier, or a little bit more reps. Do that with your personal speaking, and just do a little bit more every single time. When you get more confident, get a little bit further out of your comfort zone, and keep doing that until you reach that comfort zone and you're comfortable speaking in front of your friends. Then start speaking in front of your classroom, keep speaking till you're comfortable, then keep going out like that. Progressive overload is a concept that applies to personal development just as much as it does to exercise. Where are we now? Hazy says, oh man, I love it. Got it. Nice, man. Hazy, thank you for your support. You also say, I also journaled. I love all stuff from your videos and stoicism in general. Do you think it's still worth the time to read Meditations? 100%. Read Marcus Aurelius' Meditations if you haven't done already. It's a book that will completely change your life. And if you haven't started journaling, I really don't know what to say to you. It's the most efficient use of your time you will ever find. Journaling is the most efficient use of your time you'll ever find. It will lead to a ridiculous amount of benefits, from less stress to reaching your goals quicker, just a stupid amount that it's not even worth getting into now. If you're not journaling, you need to start journaling. End of. Nathan says, yes, meditation is the foundation. Meditations is the foundation. You're completely correct. Santiago says, great, pretty relatable. Hazy says, you like the merch. Thank you for that. What else is going on? Santiago, I agree that is probably why some people use amulets, not because of superstition, but in order to identify values with himself. And you're completely correct. The stuff you put on yourself, whether it's tattoos or even the stuff in your environment, that affects the way you think. So if you can shortcut that by changing your environment, changing what you're wearing, or changing the stuff that are around you, then you're going to be able to change your identity. It's very simple. And the best thing about it is one of those things you do once and you reap the benefits for many years later. Nathan Holt, cool, Andrew. Clothing is so impactful for the wearer and those around you. Nathan, you are completely correct. The clothes that you wear will completely change who you are, and it will also have an impact on the people around you. I completely agree with you. Shivam Sharma, problem is I think too much, but I do nothing. Well, as much as I hate to say this answer, and as much as I wish there was a different way to do it, the only answer is just to do it. Now, if there's specific things that you're procrastinating, a little trick that I like to use is called the 5-second rule. And it's not the 5-second rule where you count down and then you do it. That's kind of stupid. Instead, the big task that you're doing, for me, if I'm editing a video, which takes 4 hours, it's easy to procrastinate on that. But instead of telling myself, right, I've got to go and edit this video, all I say to myself is I've got to sit down and I've got to open up Final Cut Pro, which is the task, the software I use to start editing. And by reminding myself that all I'm making myself do is sit down on my computer with Final Cut Pro open, then I simply start editing. See, by breaking down a huge task, focusing on the first minute and trying to get yourself to do that, it's much easier to stop procrastinating. And this is a tool that I've been using myself and I've been using with my clients that have gone through personal coaching with me, and they all love it. It's a tool that I recommend to absolutely everyone. Patrick Patra, thanks for answering my last question. That's all right. Do you have any technique or practice that would push me to do something that I just should be doing or that I want to do? Right now, I just can't make myself do anything to get out of my comfort zone. Well, the thing that I've just explained to the other person, that is what I recommend to you. There's a whole load of things, and I'm going to be doing some exciting things in the future, more about them. But that is the first thing I'd start with. The second thing, you've got to have a motivation. This is the first step. There's two keys that you just got to be doing, and if you're not doing it, then it's ridiculous. The first one is having a clear vision and taking the time to detail exciting goals and having a vision of your dream life. That is essential. You hear people talking about it, starting with why. Find your vision, find your purpose. You've got to do it. And the only way you can do it is by journaling and just sitting down and spending days on days and days, 5 minutes a day, just defining your vision until it's so clear that you can feel it and so clear that you can simply jump into it. Now, if you're here, Logic Mediator says, don't forget to like the video. I'd really appreciate it, guys, if you could just go ahead and like this video. I do appreciate that. Quinton Jeers says, thank you, that answered that a lot. No problem. Very nice minimalistic clothing designs. Yep, my recent video, Stoicism versus Minimalism. That is what inspired me to make the Stoicism merch, which is designed to self-signal you and change your identity. And for the new guys that have just joined, there's now 26 people in here. There's a link in the description, or if you scroll up, there's a link in the chat for some merchandise that you can get with a 15% code will end at the end of this stream. Do you like the Wim Hof method? Now, this is very exciting. I'm actually meeting up with someone in a couple months' time who is a practicer of the Wim Hof method. So there will be a Stoicism collaboration with the Wim Hof method that will be coming out in a few months' time. Now, when it comes down to the Wim Hof method, all I know is that a lot of people talk about it and it's working for a lot of people. Now, when I did my 28 days of Marcus Release's morning routine, which is actually the video that blew up and got 900,000 views, that was the only time in my life where I've done cold showers. And that was my first experience with the Wim Hof method. Now, I didn't experience any of the long-term benefits, but I'm not disproving them. All I could recognize that was that cold showers are a great method for voluntary discomfort, a great way for you to get out of your comfort zone. And it leaves you excited and you feel like you can do anything. I don't have much experience on the Wim Hof method. There will be a video coming up soon, but that's all that I really know. Where are we? Jeff says, thank you. Jeff, thank you for thanking me. That really means a lot. I don't think you guys understand that when you comment nice things in my videos and comment how much of a difference that I've made on your life, that really does affect me. And I go throughout my day proud of myself, knowing that I made a difference to your life. And that's a very nice feeling. So I just wanted to thank you guys for doing that. Whenever someone says to me, you've changed my life, and explains some story, there's been some people that have come out of depression from my videos. There's been some people that have gone from working in IKEA to now being a yoga instructor with a huge business. Every single time I hear, I'm really grateful. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And guys, if you've got any questions, then just go ahead and leave it in the chat. I will go ahead and answer all of your questions. I'm just going through them right now. And I'm almost out of water, which kind of sucks, but what can you do? I've struggled to find a translation of meditations that is the most appropriate. I've had similar problems with other writers, such as Machiavelli. Would you have a version that you recommend? Yes, Vasco. Go on any of my videos. There's a link in the description to the best version of meditations. And I think it's either the George Long translation or the Gregory Hayes translation. One of those two, they're both good, but go into any one of my videos, find the link in the description that says best book or something like that. There'll be a link to Amazon with the best translation that you can ever find. And that's the one that I'd recommend that you get. Vasco says, oh, and also thanks. Your videos really didn't get me motivated to properly start practicing. And see, I'm glad. Like, thank you so much for letting me know. And I'm glad that you're practicing whatever it is you're practicing, whether it's just self-development, whether it's stoicism. I'm glad that you're on the personal development path. So thank you, Vasco, for letting me know. Nathan Holt, are you still taking cold showers? Now, this is one of those things that I do when I'm feeling like it. It's one of those habits that I could be doing every day. I've just got to ask myself the question, is it worth trying to remind myself of this habit every single time I want to do it? And because I'm not completely aware of the long-term benefits, and I probably should do some more research into the Wim Hof method, for me, that just comes quite low down in my priorities. The habits I like to stick with are very simple, taking supplements every single day. And I've got like a list of 5 or 6 different supplements, and there'll be a video on that coming up soon. Supplements every day, exercising every single day. What I do is I exercise or I stretch every single day. Now, I exercise 4 to 5 times a week, and the days that I'm not doing that, then I stretch. And when I say exercise 4 to 5 times a week, that normally is 4 times where I lift weights, and then 1 time a week where I do cardio, where I run, and that is the way that I exercise. Another habit I do is journaling. Every single day, multiple times a day, I journal. It is the most effective use of your time. It's an incredible habit. Journaling is something you've got to get into. Apart from that, it's waking up early. I wake up at 6 every single morning, go to bed at 10 every single night. For me, that's just the perfect time for me. I could be waking up earlier. I could be waking up a lot later, because most of the things, my lectures, and they start around 10 or 11. So I've got a nice long time in the morning where I can just do me, and I can just get on with a lot of work. The transformation I've made in the last year is just absolutely crazy, and I really am proud of myself. So just that's a little bit of boasting, if you'll let me boast with you for just a second. So Wrong says, thank you for the detailed answer, man. I've been practicing stoicism for a while now. Whenever I'm asked to explain further, I send them to you. Thank you so much. That is my goal, and that makes me really happy. I'm grateful for the support that you're giving me, and I'm grateful for everyone that likes the video or comments or anything like that, subscribes. It means the world to me, and I wouldn't be anywhere near to where I am with this business that I have if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, especially the guys that are showing up in this chat. Yeah, you guys are the real supporters, and I'm super, super grateful for that. Santiago Campos says, you also make a difference in our days. Thank you for that, man. That means a lot to me. It's really nice just to hear, just to remind myself. I know I should be able to remind myself that I am making an impact, but it's difficult to see, because as a YouTuber, the main thing that you see is a number. And it's a very toxic way of thinking about things, because you forget about the impacts that you're having on people. And this is something that I see that most people do. They forget that the positive actions that they have are actually benefiting a lot more people than you see. Because if you even just smile at someone on the street, or you teach someone a lesson, you're not just teaching them a lesson, you're making them a bit more positive, which is going to impact all of the people in their life. It's the ripple effect, and it's so difficult to see. And if you don't remind yourself constantly that the actions that you're taking is having a benefit on more people than you think, then it's very easy to get caught up in a loop of thinking, I'm not making a difference, that this isn't, I'm not actually changing the world or anything like that. Wim Hof method to me is like working out without moving vigorously. I guess so. I know it works out your brain. I'm not sure about anything else. Vasco says, thank you, thank you. No is an INTP. I struggle with discipline. Too many things I want to read, watch, and realize. Any tips? Journaling. Simple. Because when you journal, you're going to be able to do what is called the Pareto principle, where you're able to identify the 20% of things that are going to get you the 80% of results. And there's been so many times in my life and with my coaching clients where they come to me and they say that they're overwhelmed. There's too many things going on in their mind. They want to do this. They want to do this. They've just read that cold showers is the best thing to do. They've just read that calisthenics is the best thing to do. They've learned all these things and they want to implement it all. And what I simply tell them is get a journal and write down what your goal is. And once you've identified your goal, you're able to find the 20% of things that are going to get you 80% of the results. Most of the things are a waste of your time. Most of the things that you're even thinking about are a complete waste of your time. Instead, simply focus on the very simple tasks that are going to get you to where you want to be. Now, a great book that I'd recommend is The Slight Edge. It is a great book that will give you the philosophy of living life. It is an incredible book. I've literally just finished it, which is why it's on the top of my mind. Incredible book that's going to walk you through the philosophy that you need to get to where you want to be, and it's going to tell you and teach you how you can narrow down the things that you're doing until you get a very simple blueprint for getting exactly where you want to be. So I'd read The Slight Edge. I would recommend reading The Slight Edge. Emmanuel Romano, lesson learned today, my own thought can make or break me. Maybe you mean your own thoughts can make or break you, which they definitely can. For a beginner, how long should one meditate? Again, it's the progressive overload principle, like I talked about earlier. If you're struggling to meditate for 20 minutes, start with 10. If you're struggling to meditate with 10, start with 5. You've got to recognize that the skills you are building will last you for years and years and years. So you've got two options. Either you start meditating and you say, I'm going to meditate for half an hour every single day. And you do that. It's tough, but you force yourself to do it, and you can do it for a week and then you stop. That is you just done 3.5 hours of meditation, which is good. 3.5 hours of meditation in your life, that's all right. But if you start meditating just 5 minutes a day, you do that for a month. Then after a month, you start meditating 10 minutes a day. You do that for 2 months. Then after 2 months, you start meditating 15 minutes a day. And you'll actually create the habit. You will have meditated for hundreds of hours in your life. So instead of going big and starting to meditate half an hour a day, start very small, because the habit is worth so much more than the short-term benefits of meditating half an hour every single day. So you may think that by starting by meditating for just a minute, you're not reaping any of the benefits of meditation. What you're doing is creating the habit, which is going to benefit you for years and years to come. So start very, very small. What are your thoughts on enlightenment and the path to sorry, I don't understand your question. Florian Wendelborn, can you make a video of how and what you journal exactly? Example, showing a couple of pages of your journal. Yeah, there's a course that you can go through. It's all right. It's not the best, just being completely honest with you, that I made. It's like $7 or something like that. You'll be able to find it somewhere. I need to make a full-on course of how I go through, and I'm actually thinking about making a membership site where you guys will be able to come interact with me directly, ask me questions with me personally, jump on the phone with me personally, and I'm thinking of charging like, I don't know, $27 a month or something like that. And that's where I'm going to go deep into my journal, deep into the process of finding a vision, deep into the process of turning into the kind of person that will easily achieve your goals. It's a very simple 3-step process. Number 1, you find your vision. Number 2, you start the habit of journaling, which is going to get you everything you want in your life. Number 3, you identify exactly who you are right now. Then you recognize who you need to be if you want to achieve your vision easily. Then you simply just go about the process of turning from who you are now into the person that you need to become. It's a very simple process. It's my complete philosophy of life. It's the tools that I've been using with my personal coaching clients, but I need to put that in a way that's more accessible and not so expensive, a way that everyone can get access to. So I'm going to be revealing all of that, and I'm thinking in a membership site that's probably going to be coming out in a couple months. So just stay subscribed. If you're not on my email list and that sounds interesting to you, then go to andrewkirby.net/growth, sign up for my email list, and you'll get more information on that. If not, then just keep enjoying the content on YouTube. That's completely fine as well. Does anyone watch Alan Watts? Yeah, I've watched a few Alan Watts videos. They're pretty good. They're actually really good, to be fair. Him and Jim Rohn, 2 good old school personal development people. Nathan says, you've helped me to make positive shifts in my life. I'm journaling every day now. It feels like my life is speeding up. Things are coming in rapido. Big thank you for doing what you do. You dude. Nathan, man, that is so nice to hear. Congratulations on all the incredible change that you've made. I want everyone to recognize that they can boast. If you feel like you're making progress, let me know. If you feel like you're crushing life, let me know. If you feel like everything's going right, let me know. If you feel like life is easy at the moment, let me know. It's incredible to hear. Congratulations, Nathan. You should not just push that away. Take time, congratulate yourself, because that is something incredible. Like, when you're on that path, that upward curve, it feels incredible. And I congratulate you, Nathan, for coming onto that path. Nathan, man, you're crushing it. Keep going. McKillerboy, how many wives are under your gazebo? I'm not even going to answer that. What is a good stoic mantra I can say to myself when I'm feeling down to ground me? When you're feeling down, see, the one that comes to my mind is memento mori, recognizing that you are, recognizing that death is a thing. But if you're down, then perhaps that's not the best thing. I would say something along the lines of recognizing what you're grateful for. If you're down, then recognize how much you have. You've got complete control of your mind. I'm guessing you have your limbs. I'm guessing you've got friends or family or your eyesight or your hearing or your speaking. Just remind yourself of what you're grateful for, and by doing that, you're going to start being happy. And this is incredible because it's literally backed by a ridiculous amount of research where it says that being grateful is going to make you happy. Very simple. So there's not really a stoic mantra, but that's what I would do. Best Ever says, practicing stoicism for a long time. How do you not give up and get depressed after 1 week? Lol. Oh, It's difficult to answer that question. I need a lot more detail. Why do you feel like you're getting depressed? Why do you feel like you're giving up before I can even go into that? Vasco says, I journal usually at day's end, primarily to review the day and any thoughts about the day, but also as a way to set up for the following day. For me, I find it the most efficient way. Yeah, I journal in the morning, I journal throughout the day, I journal in the evening. They're all very great. The most important thing is just by starting journaling. Would you argue that there's a right way to do journaling? Completely, there is a correct way to do journaling. I'm not talking about just writing about your emotions or, dear diary, this is what I did today. Completely wrong. You've got to go through the process of growth journaling, and there's a few different exercises you can do within that. The first one and the most beneficial is simply by recognizing all of the problems that you have in your life can be resolved by a little bit of thought. So at the top of your page, you write down the problem you're having. I don't have enough friends. I'm worried that my friends don't like me. Whatever the case may be, you recognize the problem, you go through the process of dealing with it. Write down the problem, you go through the process with dealing it. That is probably one of the most effective ways of journaling. And again, there's lots of nuances within that. Exactly how do you do that? What do you write about? Where do you start? What's your thoughts when you go through that? I won't get into that now. That's a whole thing. Kodiak says, what's your opinion on Jordan Peterson? Well, I'm actually going to be coming out with a video on Jordan Peterson very soon, where I'm going to be watching loads of his content and finding all the times where he talks about the philosophy of stoicism and their concepts, and then giving my opinion about that. I agree with most of what Jordan Peterson has to say. In fact, probably all of it, to be honest. No, maybe not all of it. There's been a couple of times where I've disagreed with what he said, but most of the time I agree with Jordan Peterson. Journaling can't be necessary, though, because Socrates didn't write a single line. Yeah, maybe not necessary, but I'm sure that instead of writing a single line, if that's right and he didn't write a single line, he took the time to sit down and just think. But because we live in a world where our ADD is all over the place, by having something in front of you, whether it's a page or a computer application, that forces you to sit down and go through the process of journaling. So although he didn't journal by writing stuff down, he's probably doing the things that I talk about when I'm talking about growth journaling. A good friend of mine suggested to look at yourself in the mirror and start thinking, yeah, that's called affirmations. They can be all right, Santiago. They make you feel good about yourself. I'm unsure about the long-term benefits, but they make you feel good about yourself. How and when did you discover Stoicism? I talked about that earlier, Maro, but thank you for joining me, and I appreciate your question. I've been looking for guided Stoic meditations. Got recommendations? Yeah, just YouTube, Stoicism, guided meditation, and there's a couple of my videos that will come up. If not my videos, then there'll be other videos to watch. Just YouTube it. I don't have any recommendations on that, but just Google it or YouTube it. Very simple. That helped. You've got such a positive impact on people's lives, me included, and I can't thank you enough for it. Vasco, again, that seriously means a lot to me, and I appreciate all of your guys' time. Now, I'm about to head off of here. Again, if you haven't already, then there's a link in the description, or if you go to andrewkirby.net/shop, you'll be able to get yourself some Stoicism merchandise, and I'm going to leave it for an hour, but if you want 15% off, use the code LIVE15. That's andrewkirby.net/shop. Use the code LIVE15. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you've got any other questions, then just leave them in any of my YouTube videos. I'm so excited to have you here, and thank you for my first ever live stream. This has been crazy, and the fact that 26 of you have taken your time out of your day to spend with me, I am very grateful for that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the future videos.